The Red Sox front office report is brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when your drains don't flow, by Shaw's and Star Market, where you can win free groceries in their Grand Slam Summer Sweepstakes, by Sherwin-Williams, and by Kentucky Owl, the Wise Man, American Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And Sam Kennedy, the president of the Boston Red Sox, joins us on the Harbor One hotline. Hey, Sam.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
How you doing?
Oh, we're scuffling. We're scuffling this morning. Before we start, Greg, I want to probably in juxtaposition to the mood of the questioning and what's going on with the Red Sox, I do want to just offer a huge thank you to all your listeners, to everybody at the station, for an amazing couple of days. I'm sorry we didn't live up to our end of the bargain on the field, but I'm a very fortunate trustee over at Dana-Farber, and very, very grateful for everything that you guys have done, along with our partners at Nesson, to take the event to new levels for the Jimmy Fund. So thanks to everybody, and most importantly, thanks to the listeners. Can't believe how generous everyone is year in and year out. Very special region.
It's just, we are blessed with such incredibly generous listeners, and I was talking about it before. When I went to bed last night, we were over $3.9 million. So I'm guessing that we'll hit $4 million. And in my time here, that is the highest total that has been donated, and it's extraordinary. And we ask a lot, and it's incredible. People step up year after year. So it's amazing, Sam. It really is. It's incredible.
Well, thanks to everybody, and it is remarkable to get to new heights and new levels. So thank you, and thanks to our players as well. Throughout the season, we've had many patients, kids and adults that come through, and it's just amazing to see, led by Garrett Whitlock as our captain, Jimmy Fund captain. It's just great, and I know we're really struggling and scuffling on the field, but I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody, and now we can turn the page on that, and let me have it.
Well, from the outside, this sweep feels kind of like the low point of the season. Is that the feeling internally?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a tough blow. We're just not pitching. We don't have the depth right now, and it's we saw it manifest itself the other night when you're really thin with your starting pitching, and you don't have starters that you need to go deep, and you got 16 games in a row against the class of baseball. It just was not a good recipe. We've had a really brutal August. I think we're 13 and 15. So look, it does feel like the low point. The odds are stacked against us, but no one's given up. I mean, until our playoff odds are zero, I know that the clubhouse, our players, Alex Cora, the staff, they're going to grind to try and get back in this thing here. And we've got 28 games to go, so let's jump on board and see what we can do over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
So when you and Alex Cora and others point to the lack of deep pitching options as the reason you're at where you're at, do you then look at the trade deadline and question why you didn't add an arm as Rafael Devers and others wanted you to?
Yeah, I think it's natural to question and look back and examine everything, but it's not appropriate for us now, for those of us in the front office who are accountable for these things, starting with me and our whole organization. We're a team. And so others can look back and question and pick apart. But for us, we got to focus on what's in front of us, the 4 weeks in front of us, and staying positive and trying to get back in this thing, regardless of moves that were made or not made. The great thing about baseball is you could debate every element of off-season, trade deadlines, moves up and down, bringing guys up from AAA, sending them down, when to use them. But our job is to block out the noise and keep moving forward.
Sam, one thing, though, I don't think we can debate is that this team was not talented enough to win the division this season. I know we've had this back and forth, but the roster, I think Alex has done a good job. I think the players have tried hard. I think, Yoshida was a brilliant offseason acquisition. There's been good players. Justin Turner, phenomenal signing. Duvall. There was a lot of good moves made. It didn't feel like the roster was built well enough to contend this season. Maybe next year, and obviously you have players coming up in a farm system, but the bridge year appears to be maybe what we thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Chris, you're saying that because we're 69 and 65, right? And we're 6.5 games out of a playoff spot. But if the major league record were better, we wouldn't be having that conversation. So, look, I understand that. You mentioned there have been a lot of good moves made, a lot of mistakes made. That's the way it goes. But I would debate that this team still can make the playoffs and could have performed better than 69 and 65. If you look at the talent up and down that roster and you look at the pitching, positional players, I think we've definitely underperformed what we could have done. So I think it is debatable. It's easy to look back with hindsight and say where we're sitting is a really tough spot, and we acknowledge that and concede that for sure. But we're not giving up.
Sam, sometimes ancient history doesn't become ancient history when we're not sure exactly what happened. And Mookie Betts was back here last weekend, and Sean McDonough on the WEI Red Sox radio network said that trade would be a forever stain on the organization. Mookie said when he was here that he intended to play his whole career on the Boston Red Sox. Can you just clear up for us what was it Mookie's intention to leave? What was the final offer that the Red Sox gave to Mookie? Was there, when Chaim Bloom came here, was Chaim told that the organization ought to trade Mookie? Can you, because I think it just lingers, and it's not bad or good. I think people just kind of want to understand what happened there.
Yeah, it's a fair question. Look, Mookie's a generational player. He's an amazing person. The decision that happened back in 2020, I think, was more about where we were as an organization, right? Coming off the 2019 season, coming off of a really incredible run for the Red Sox with guys that took us to the promised land. It was a special era. Unfortunately, where we were in 2020, we were needed to get ourselves, I would say, on more stable footing to position ourselves for sustainable success at the major league level. So the decision related to Mookie was more about where we were as an organization, not Mookie as a player. Yep. So that's really what I'll say about that. We made consistent and long-standing efforts to get Mookie signed, going all the way back. We didn't get it done. That's on us. We own that. That was all prior to Chaim's arrival. And then, Chaim came in at the end of 19 and was faced with that situation that I mentioned in terms of where we were as an organization. So, look, we respect Mookie. We love him as a player, as a person. It was great to see him. I got to spend time with him. We wish him well, but we've moved on.
Sam, you bring up being out 6.5 games, and I think the frustrating point for a lot of fans is that you look at this point of the season last year and you guys were out 8 games. So to have back-to-back seasons like that, what would you say to fans to have them stick with you? Because it does feel like the frustration is mounting when it comes to maybe thinking that ownership or others have their interest out elsewhere and not with the Red Sox organization. Yeah,
I understand the question, Courtney. I mean, we have our focus squarely here at Fenway Park, night in and night out. We have for 22 years. There's never been a season where this management team, this group, has not had the full commitment and support all the way to the top of this organization, from John Henry and Tom Werner all the way down. We've had some great seasons. We've had some very disappointing seasons in recent times. The last 2 seasons that you point out, it has been frustrating. I don't think there's anyone more frustrated than us, those of us in management who are responsible for the operations of the team, of the ballpark, things that happen in the community. That's all on us. And so we tell our fans, we say thank you. We understand your frustration. We ask you to stick with us. If anything, over these last 2 decades, I think we've proven that anything can happen. Turnarounds can come quickly, whether it's this September or whether it's a difficult season and then going into a exciting season. I point to 2020 into 21. I point to 2012 into 2013. Things can happen quickly, but again, that those words are hollow. We got to go out and do it, and we've seen amazing support for this team in 2023 at Fenway, and we're really grateful for that. And we ask our fans to continue to hang in there as this core of players that we have that we know are capable of doing something special are in place. We're going to build on that as we go forward, and it's going to be an exciting era in Red Sox baseball, and just ask people to hang with us.
So I'm sorry, it's because we had Mookie just here, and you were just talking about this. A generational talent who you love on and off the field, as does everybody. Why would there ever be a place where this organization would be where he wouldn't be the centerpiece of it?
Because, Chris, at that time, we needed to reshift the focus in terms of building a more stable organization, as I said.
Last one from me. You've said before on this show that the relationship between Chaim Bloom and Alex Cora is the best that you've ever seen between a GM and a coach. Is that the same situation today? So, sometimes you hear you read into what either one of them is saying, and you wonder, do they still have a very strong positive relationship?
Yeah, they do. I mean, but that doesn't mean that both guys don't take challenging, difficult times hard. That's understandable. Incredibly competitive leaders who have been a part of great organizations and difficult seasons as well. But they've got a great relationship. It's open, it's candid, it's honest. They're both probably as hard on themselves as anyone else would be. So again, while I know that your job and the job of the media is to focus on blame and whose fault and this and that and the other thing, we recognize that. Our job is to stay positive together and unified as we try and fix the problems that we've encountered and get better as we go forward. And that's what we're going to do.
Sam, I appreciate you taking the time as always. And before you go, I have the question of the week from Sherwin Williams, and it is from Francie at DLD Painting in Lynn. When it comes to next steps over the next 5 years, when it comes to growing the organization, what, in your opinion, are the first few steps that should be taken?
Well, I think we've seen it, and it's sort of tried and true in baseball. Pitching, more pitching is always needed, and I think we've got some young players and pitchers in this organization that are going to help us. We got to be active in the free agent market as we go forward in the next 5 years, because you're not going to win. Pitching and defense wins championships. We all know that, and so that's got to be a big focus as we go forward.
Interesting. I don't know if you heard Pedro on the radio broadcast the other night say that he thinks Bayo's stuff is better than his stuff. Would you agree?
That's no, I wouldn't yet. I've never seen anybody like Pedro. I don't think anybody else has, but I don't know that maybe Bayo would say his stuff is better than Pedro's. If it is, wow, we got something special. Let's hope so.
All right. Well, ask Sherwin-Williams how you can make every day feel like game day with over 1,500 colors and a top-tier coaching staff. Shop online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams paint store today. Sam Kennedy, thanks, and we'll talk to you again, I think, one more time this season.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right. That is the Front Office Report with Sam Kennedy.